Well, thanks for joining today. What's going to be a really lively discussion about how to increase your success with LinkedIn and LinkedIn campaigns. I'm Mike O'Neill, your instructor. I've been on LinkedIn for a long time. I've been coaching and training, and I've been an expert since the very early days. I've gotten a lot of accolades over the years. You can see for yourself. In order to write a book, you really need to know how to do things pretty darn well, and you need to be concise. So let's see how I do today, huh? I'm a tech industry veteran. I'm from the technology space, from the local area network side with computers and servers like you see here. I also work in the cloud for large telecom carriers and hosting companies and did managed services. So I did kind of soup to nuts in the tech space. It'll come across here a little bit. So prepare to learn LinkedIn, okay? I'm going to give you a nice current understanding of where LinkedIn is at today. I'm also going to teach you how to find and engage top prospects specifically to get more business. And I'm going to teach a lead generation process built on a concept called campaigns. So why LinkedIn? Why does LinkedIn matter, huh? Well, it matters because LinkedIn is the #1 B2B social media platform. There are plenty of other social media platforms out there, but they don't speak B2B quite like LinkedIn. There's all kinds of great statistics out there. You don't really need statistics to tell you how important LinkedIn is to a B2B audience. Chances are you're already using LinkedIn in some way. I'm going to show you how to use it more effectively. I'll show you how to use LinkedIn better to find and create and retain more, and I say especially better customers. We're going to upgrade the people we're working with thanks to LinkedIn. And the reason is LinkedIn is where your B2B target customers are. They exist out there. We're going to go find them and do things with them, right? Well, I'll teach you how to use LinkedIn to better access this huge, immense, important database, customer data. And it's free data, and it's updated by users. So it's not like a data in your CRM that gets obsolete a certain percent every month. This is free data, okay? It doesn't cost you anything to access the data. You may pay some money to do some extra things with it, but the data is free. And the updates, let me explain that just a little bit. If somebody works at AT&T and they lose their job, and on Monday they work at Sprint, by Monday their LinkedIn profile is updated. It's that up to date. People don't keep employment data out of date for very long. It's a matter of days, not months and years or forever if it's in a CRM system. So I'm going to teach you how to use LinkedIn to better project a really good corporate image to the business world, even if you're not a really big corporate giant. Well, the core LinkedIn landscape is LinkedIn.com, but there's these other platforms. And especially since it's part of Microsoft, you can expect this to expand even more. LinkedIn.com is the core. You're always using LinkedIn.com. But you might add to it one of these other platforms as well. So as far as platforms go, Office is a platform. It has multiple components to it. Now make the case that Microsoft Word is like LinkedIn.com. Everybody uses Microsoft Word if they have Office. Not everyone uses Excel, for example. Not everyone uses PowerPoint. I'll make the case that Excel is like Sales Navigator. It's a database, right? How many people have a database in a spreadsheet? Okay, so this concept of platforms is something to think about, and you might use other platforms in other situations. We're going to focus on LinkedIn.com and Sales Navigator here because we're revenue producers, right? So there's a free version of LinkedIn. You can pay some more money for LinkedIn and get a little bit more, and I mean a little bit more, or you can get a lot bit more with Sales Navigator for just a little more. The case for $80 for LinkedIn Sales Navigator is going to be very compelling to you here today. The whole world is essentially migrating over to Sales Navigator. It's a value proposition in many cases. You'll run out of juice on LinkedIn.com pretty quick and have to either pay more for just LinkedIn, or you'll move over to Sales Navigator, which is what most folks are doing. So let's learn how to sell more with LinkedIn. Come on. Well, one of the ways to do it is to get more eyeballs on your profile. A better profile is like a better website. You use tools to get people to go to your website, right? And you use tools to get people to come to your LinkedIn profile. Those tools are called words, keywords. And the principle of search engine optimization that you would use in a typical web environment, keywords and all, are applicable entirely over here to LinkedIn. It really helps to have great writing skills. Okay? And writing skills not in a verbose sense, but concise writing skills are really important. We'll discuss this a little bit more. So this is where your writing comes into play. You might have articles that you write in LinkedIn, and they're not big articles. They're a page, a printed page, sometimes a little bit more. You'll be commenting on things and sharing ideas and adding words to that commentary. Not just share and go, but share, comment, and go. The anatomy is one where you've got to have a sharp image to associate with what you're doing out here. And an article situation is especially important. You need a catchy title. The title might be all somebody sees if they're going to decide if they're going to read it or not, right? That's why movies have really important titles and stuff, and all, blogs do and all. You also need to be a concise writer. This is a good amount of text to have in a paragraph, 3 lines going across like this. And putting links in your articles lets people expand upon it to learn more, to see maybe what some of the inspiration was for the article in the first place. Well, partners are especially important in today's world. So think about this. What goes well with what I sell? It rhymes, it's easy to remember, and it's also a concept you're probably using already. So if you're selling one of these devices, what are the other devices that go with that? Because chances are people are buying a full meal. They're buying more than one of those items when they're doing a project. They might be buying all of it. It could be a forklift upgrade, as we say. If the router gets changed, someone has to install that, and there's some money needed for it, and so on and so on. So the best partners are ones that will bring you into deals all the time. When they sell one, I sell one too. I had a relationship with a cabling company, and I sold local area networks. I was a sales engineer selling local area networks. Every single time I sold a LAN, I brought my wiring guy with. At the very least, he was going to terminate the endings of the cables differently. He always sold something whenever I sold something. Sometimes he would get as much benefit, as much profit, as much money in his pocket out of the deal as I would selling all the equipment. You've got current partners. So if we look at the current partners we have, we can find more people like them. LinkedIn makes it really easy. Could it be any easier than this? Finding your current partners out there and just looking at LinkedIn's interpretation of who's similar. You'd be surprised how accurate this is. So I'm going to teach you a principle called LinkedIn campaigns, all right? LinkedIn campaigns are a really concerted effort. I've systematized the process of finding and engaging target customers for you here. It starts with targeting. And targeting means of all the people out there, we're going to go for these specific people that we care about the most. Now, if people are contacting you, it's great to have people contact you. You want inbound leads and all. But you can't control how good of a lead that is. In this case here, we can specifically pick our customers. We can shop for the customers that we want. We're going to use a concept called Boolean. And Boolean actually goes back to 8th grade set theory. This is the most basic thing there is. It may seem a little complex at first, but this really takes you back to middle grade school. CEOs, sales folks, you see how it works? Ands and ors. You put some quotes around phrases. You can weed out the folks that you don't want, and you put it all together into a nice phrase here. This phrase here goes into a job title field. You can use this same philosophy in some other fields as well, like a keyword field. Where people are matters a whole lot to folks in the sales world. You probably don't sell to companies in Hong Kong. Maybe you do. Some folks sell everywhere. Some folks sell anything to anybody as long as they fit some sort of a thing, as long as they got money, right? But you might be in a situation where you're just US based, or maybe just within your state. You know, I only sell within Minnesota here. Might even be more to a city or even part of a city. If you're in San Francisco, someone might have the North Bay, someone might have the South Bay. Hey, north of 70th Street and all. These sorts of targeting based on an area are all very powerful in LinkedIn. The kind of industry somebody is in matters a lot to some people. There's 147 industries in LinkedIn, and chances are not all of them apply. Now, by default, all 147 industries are selected. As soon as you pick one industry, you're unchecking 146 others. Okay, so think about that. It's everything, or it's just one step at a time. So you might pick multiple industries. I happen to work a lot with computer organizations, all right? All the different aspects here. So I pick computer network security, computer hardware, computer networking, software. I don't necessarily go for games, but I might. You know, in those sorts of cases, you know, the folks that do that, you know, they need to use LinkedIn as well, but their target audience might be a little bit different. Computer game companies might be targeting individual users of their games. More likely, they're targeting folks in the channel, so they work pretty well as well. Now, law enforcement is one of them. If you don't sell to cops, you know, well, then you can check 146 boxes and eliminate them. If you don't sell to the judiciary, 145. You're probably going to find 30, 40, 50, some of our clients, up as many as 75 industries work well for you. And you eliminate the others. We don't want to go where we're not wanted or needed. So we put all this together. We roll the roulette wheel here, and we come up with our searches on LinkedIn. Look, our search here gets us 98 results. But if we're a Sales Navigator user, it gets us 552. Now, as a sales rep, I want 552 leads, not 98 leads. I may take those 552 and find the best 98, but you could say I could take those 98 and find the best 10 or 15. You want to start with the best pool of stuff, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator gives you a lot more granularity to weed in and weed out the folks that you want the most. As we say, you get more with Sales Navigator here. So much of the campaign process is going to focus on Sales Navigator since it has the tools that we need. The small, medium, and large principle comes into play here. You don't always work with small, medium, and large. The small folks at their home out there are usually not a target for the kind of folks in the audience here today. Okay. The great, big, huge, monolithic companies, AT&T and Ford, probably not for us here as well. It's somewhere in between, the sweet spot in the middle that need most of the services that we make and provide here, right? We can go elephant hunting with Sales Navigator. It's called account-based selling, account-based marketing. We find accounts that we want to work with, and then at those accounts, we find the people there that we will engage, right? So find the companies first based on the kind of needs the company has, and then we find the people there. This approach is only possible in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We can actually save accounts. It's called an account. We can actually save people as leads. They're called leads. So this is what it looks like. All right, here's Mike Madsen. He's at IBM. Okay, you know, big company, right? Now he's probably in a division of IBM that we might be able to sell to. We'll save him as a lead right from his profile here. Now, I am going to show you how to do some things in LinkedIn.com because not everyone is going to be buying off on this principle of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So let me show you a little bit about what we can do, quote, for free. Well, it matters because the LinkedIn free platform is usually the place we're going to start. You know, starting on Sales Navigator is well, that's what I do, okay? I just start right on there. But for the layman out here, it's pretty quick and simple to start over on LinkedIn.com and then maybe flip our stuff over to Sales Navigator. So we've got a single box like Google or Facebook. LinkedIn's got a single box search and it works, well, pretty well. Not great, pretty well. Okay. So there it is. You got to click exactly over here, exactly to the left of the search icon to get to the advanced search function out here. And when you do, you're going to get some more filters. These are the ones that I think matter the most. We talked about them a little bit. Keywords, locations, industries, right? Those are the ones. And under keywords here, by the way, that's where your job titles are. Okay. So I agree that a job title isn't really a keyword, but that's where LinkedIn puts it. Okay, and you'll see drop downs there. You go into those places to put in your job title, or, ands and nots, and all that quotey stuff. Right. So let's do a quick recap. It's important that your profile attracts people, that it represents you well, it projects a corporate image that's good, that you have a company page. You're all dressed up, right? Your targeting is also very important. So we're going to find the folks we most want to do business with using many of the tools I talked about there. So I'm going to jump into the more advanced material now, and we'll talk about how we systematize this in a better way. I'm going to teach you first how to deal with your existing contacts, okay? We can go out and find new people out there. Hallelujah, we're going to do that. But we're going to work with folks maybe that we already know, okay? Because we have useful people already. Most of us have got careers out there where we've been accumulating contacts, connections, people out there that we can use for a long time. So let's take advantage of that. So I'm going to teach you an ABC approach. Could it be any easier? ABC approach to finding business from folks that we've already got in our bucket here, okay? Now, in our bucket out here, we have folks that we know. And when I say know, we know what's going on with them. We can personalize things in a little bit better way. And then we've got folks that we don't know. Maybe we've got some information about them, but we really don't know them, okay? And the word know really does matter here, right? So on LinkedIn, we'll call them LinkedIn connections. We're connected to all kinds of people, some that we know, some that we don't. And then there's lots of other places where we have contacts. So we're going to dive down deep into this. This is really important material here. So on LinkedIn, they're called first level connections. So the folks we know and the folks that we don't could both be first level connections. We're going to parse them out. We're going to call the A's here, the A category folks, that we can say a little something extra about. And in the first sentence of our message to them, these are ones now, so we're sending messages to them, not invites, okay? We're sending messages to them. The first sentence is something that's kind of personal. The rest of the message could be something that's canned, as we say, copy and paste, something for everybody. But it's got something personal, so it takes advantage of the A category, the folks that we really do know. Now the B folks, they're in another category. This is an entirely canned message, okay? We've already been connected to them for a while. We're going to let them know that. All right, we're going to remind them that we're connected here. They should see that they're a one, but they may not know, right? So we'll just mention that we're connected on LinkedIn and all. We're just going to try to stir something up with them here. They're qualified to do business with us here. We just don't really know them. We're going to try to stir something up. And then there's the C's. Well, they just don't get anything at all. Okay, so we don't really know them. We don't really care too much about them, but we're going to stay connected to them. They lead us to other people, so we're not going to delete the connection here, but we're just not going to send them a message. They're not part of this process. Now, there's lots of other places out here where we have contacts. This is going to be an interesting component here. This is where we're really stirring stuff up, all right? The process is one of finding these people wherever they are. We're identifying our buckets of people, and then we're going to invite them to connect, all right? We'll start with business cards, okay? If you've got a business card from somebody, chances are pretty good that you've met that person, that card was in their hand and your hand once at the same time. It got handed off like that. right? You may have just gathered their card at a show or something, but that's the smaller percentage here. We'll take advantage of the fact that we have their business card. You have a CRM system of some kind. It doesn't matter what kind of CRM system we have. There's people in our CRM that are assigned to us that we're keeping track of that fit this A and B category, right? A and B's. If they're in our CRM system and they're no good, well, we might take them out of the CRM system or at least put them in the no good category. But that's not what we're going to reach out to here. We're going to reach out to the better folks. All of us have some sort of an email system that has contacts, people we email in and out and all. Those are folks we want to connect to as well. Doesn't matter what platform it is either. And then we've also got little lists that have come across every day. It could be the Denver Business Journal Book of Lists even. Could be something that's just a newspaper list of some kind. If they attended an event or however we've got some little scratchy piece of paper or spreadsheet, those are places we're going to look for our A's and B's. So to find them is actually a pretty simple process for many of them. If they have an unusual name, then we can just use the simple principle right here, just the box at the top on LinkedIn. Otherwise, it takes a little bit more work. So we might need to add a location or a company and look from the little list, see if we recognize anyone's faces. You know, if you don't know which one it is out there, then either invite them both or all three of them, or just don't do them at all. But you might even add more criteria here. Look at their past history out there of a job that they had in the past and go, oh yeah, I remember over here from TBR Corporation out there. And you look at the other three and they didn't have TBR. So past work history might help you there as well. Now, somebody is going to send these invitations and these messages out there. Somebody. Okay? Maybe you have an assistant. Maybe you've got a son or daughter or a neighbor or something. Maybe there's a vendor that can do it. We do this work for people. In a lot of cases, though, it's just you. You're going to do this. This is on your back. You're a do-it-yourselfer. You may work for a big company, but you're sitting in a cube or you're at your home office and you're do-it-yourselfing here, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to speak now about how to stir up business with LinkedIn campaigns. This is where we don't know people. We deal the ABC principle with the folks we already know and follow those paths there. But now we're going to use the LinkedIn tools to help us find clients. And this matters a lot because, you know, we run out of business of folks that we've already got in our collection of cards and lists and all. We need LinkedIn to fill the funnel here. So let me explain what the benefits are of campaigns here. Okay, this is kind of a serious component. I'm going to dial it down just a little bit, and then I'm going to get excited again. With campaigns, you can dial it up or dial it down as you need. If things are busy, you can cut back on your campaign activity a little bit. All right? You don't need to fill the funnel when the funnel's already full. So you can back off from some of your sending activity. Now, the flip side of that is, you know, I've got quota, you know, for the quarter, and I'm not quite there. And I don't know where it's going to come from. I might dial it up in another case there. All right? So we might double down. Twice as much sending means twice as much leads. It's really a proportionate activity here. The other things that come from this is we're going to have better clients. We're picking our clients here. They're not picking us. It's not a random caller out there, and it's someone at home, Susie in her slippers, who's asking about buying a T1. You know, she doesn't even know what a T1 is, but someone told her she needed one, and she's going to suck up your time. It's you outbound finding the folks that want Ethernet services or DS3s or hosting or whatever it is that you sell out there because you've qualified the clients here. You're shopping for customers and you're shopping for the people there and you're looking deep into them at their profiles and at their websites and all so that that language and the conversation you use in your words here is very specific to them. So that's why you might break up these campaigns into pieces, and I'll discuss kind of how that works a little bit. If you're in the computer category this week, we're using computer terms. If you're in the manufacturing category, next week you're using manufacturing terms. You can be that specific because you're targeting who they are. You're driving the conversation. We got to prepare though. There's some settings that we need to get done on our profile so we're not advertising our competitors, so that we're optimizing the language. When people look at our profile, they're seeing exactly what we want them to see, right? And then their company page, a lot of folks either work for a company that has a company page and they're not attached to it. They don't show there on it. So we need to fix that. Or maybe there's a company page that either doesn't exist or doesn't look very good. There's some updating and some preparation to do there to make sure that our campaign activity is well received. So getting to settings is right in your profile, right under the Me button, as we say. Find your head up at the top and click right on down into settings and all. Updating your profile so that it looks good at a glance. So you're not trying to optimize all areas of your profile equally. What matters most is what you see right here when someone takes a quick look at you. This text that says CEO Founder Integrated Alliances, that text actually appears when you're on a list. If they don't like that, they're not going to click on you and see any more. So optimize your picture, this text here. This is the stuff to optimize first. Your company page needs to look respectable. So many company pages don't even have an image at the top. And I'll tell you, it's just minutes to make that update. There's other information you put on your company page as well, but without that graphic out there, you look like a generic person, and people don't buy from generic people. They don't buy from generic companies. So now we're going to use this approach to find the folks that we want. On the left here are items that we can pick from menus and drop-down boxes and the Boolean we talked about, right? Those are business attributes. On the right are personal attributes. They might be into sports or something, and there's ways that they work that into their profile. Now, I'll share this. It used to be easier to take advantage of the personal attributes of people. There was a section called interests in your profile, and it's not there anymore. So we're more inclined to work on the left side, the left brain over here now, than we used to previously. You'll find out about those other attributes out there, perhaps in other platforms like Facebook and Twitter and other things, where they talk about more what's going on in their day-to-day life. LinkedIn is a little bit less so. So we're going to take this information, we're going to plug it into Sales Navigator. And we're going to see why, real quickly here, we use Sales Navigator, right? Do we want to filter 11 ways or 29 ways? And let me explain the ways that matter the most. The differences here are bigger than they even seem. The job title field right in the middle on Sales Navigator is the big one. Okay. If you used to be a vice president of purchasing at a company that's got 1,000 employees, a really great person, right? And now, now you're a sales rep at Sprint. LinkedIn.com says you're still that vice president that you're looking for. They do not separate out past and current job titles. So you'll get some pretty garbagey data using some of these principles in LinkedIn.com. Locations, you can't use zip codes in locations. You can't pick states in locations. So if you're using those sort of targeting techniques, it doesn't work with LinkedIn.com. If you like certain size companies, doesn't work in LinkedIn.com. Some of these features used to be there, and they're just not there anymore. But they're all in Sales Navigator with a whole bunch more. So you see where the $80 a month Sales Navigator account comes into play. If you're not already using it, you can get a free month and try it out. So let's talk about the process, right? How to engage our top prospects. We're going to connect with them. When we connect, it opens the door. Yep, it opens the door to a whole bunch of things that are not possible otherwise. Once you connect, you can message, you get email addresses, you get a phone number for many people, their updates appear in a stream. You You can recommend them, you can endorse them, all kinds of things. None of this is possible until you connect with someone on LinkedIn. So the process is one of clicking on a button to connect and adding a nice note, sending an invite off. Now, I like these words, would you be open to connecting on LinkedIn? I like those a lot. You're kind of asking for permission to connect with them. And what you'll find from some people is they'll say, sure, I'll be open to connecting. Send me an invite. It's kind of funny. You've already sent them an invite. And they've maybe even already accepted it. They didn't realize what they did. It's a little funny sometimes. But you're asking for permission here. And this ups your click-through rate, as we would say. Now, you're going to have a certain percentage of people actually connect with you. Some folks just don't check LinkedIn that often, quite frankly. They don't check LinkedIn at all. But the ones that do, we're going to separate them out, that 20%, okay? So we're going to use tools, the searches in LinkedIn, to identify the folks we're going to invite. We're not going to be picky one at a time here, okay? The system finds them. And then, after they connect, we'll evaluate the 20% that connect, and then we'll make our systematic A, B, C sort of evaluation of those folks, you might say. The good ones, let's say it's even half of these folks, we're going to pursue. We're going to put them into our CRM system, right? And we're going to put them on the path to doing business with us. But we're not going to spend much time on the 80% of the folks that don't connect. That's why we have the tools do that for us. The LinkedIn search does that for us. It identifies them. And then the ones who do connect, we're going to work with them instead. We're going to send them a nice little message. Maybe try to get a meeting, try to have a chat with them. So we'll generally do this on LinkedIn because that's where we met them, all right? But remember I said there's a whole lot of other ways that you can communicate with people after you connect. You might send some more messages, some emails, or you might get really excited and say, you know what, I'm going to pick up the phone and call this person. You know, I'm so excited about working with them. Yes, you're going to work with me. I'm so excited about you. But I would suggest you do the messaging and email aspect first, since it's asynchronous. It's easier for them to respond on their own time. You've done the courteous thing to do something that's most convenient for them. Because once you start calling them out there, it puts it on a different category. Now, when you're calling and say, hey, you know, we're connected on LinkedIn, been sending you some emails and stuff, just thought I'd pick up the phone and call. That's a little different than, my name is Bob, and I want to sell you my stuff. Because you've already made it easier for them, and maybe that hasn't worked. Or maybe they've gone cold, they've gone dark, they're no longer responding. Sales reps know this principle. So another way to kind of stoke the fire with folks is to engage the things that they're talking about. Now, only a certain percentage of the people that you've connected with and approved, you know, kind of met your approval, you put into your CRM system, are doing this sort of commentary here. Okay, I agree that it's not everybody. So this might fit, you know, 20, 30% of the folks in your target audience here. But they might be liking or sharing or something, and you'll be able to see that sort of stuff because on the homepage of LinkedIn, on the homepage of Sales Navigator is where this activity is. Now, on the homepage of LinkedIn.com, it's everyone you're connected to all in one stream here. It's not so useful. There's a lot of garbage there. It's hard to see the forest through the trees. But on Sales Navigator, we're going to separate out by saving accounts and leads, and we're just going to have them in a separate category, and it's very useful there. And the like, comment, share buttons are there in both cases. In one case, it's highly groomed for you. In another case, you got to really weed through it. Another feather in the cap, Sales Navigator. So, you know, it can be kind of hard to do this. It can be hard to put all this stuff into action. I agree. We can make it a little easier with some help. We can help you get your profile in the good situation it needs to be in. Company page as well. We can do coaching, kind of one-on-one coaching, one-on-several coaching like we talked about here, sometimes a team. A sales team might need training. so that they can systematize stuff and be like each other. It's a way to level the playing field for all of your sales reps, because they might, some be good, some not. They're all coming from different areas, and it lines them all up just like other corporate training would do. Puts everyone on the same boat. And we can show you how to do these campaigns on your own, how to systematize it, even using tools to automate some of that process. Now, some folks are really going to say that's too much. Can you do it for me? And the answer is yes, we can do this for you. We can log into your account and find the folks, invite them, keep track of who's keeping up with things, who's connecting, send messages afterwards. And that's the systematic way for folks, especially decision makers. And if you've got a little extra money each month, that's a great way to automate things and to really be working with exception rather than the rule. The folks that actually engage you in the campaigns, we'll single those folks out for you and take the rest of that off of your plate. So here's how to reach me and how to get a free call if this works for you. If you want to chat about your particular situation, about your company, about your environment, you know how to do it. So I'm Mike O'Neill. I'm known as the LinkedIn Rockstar in some boats out there. You get that way by connecting up to 30,000 people and improving upon that. I hit 30,000 connections in 2009, and I've turned over half of that already, so my network is really stoked. And maybe I can introduce you to some folks in my network. So give us a call if you like. Reach out, schedulewithmike.com.